Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine, it's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
Add excitement to your holidays with Ohio Lottery Holiday Scratch-Offs, including $1 holiday cash and $5 holiday lucky times 10, or Holiday Bonus Millions with a 200 times multiplier and a $2 million top prize. Plus, enjoy second chance drawings where you can win 10 times, 100 times, or 1,000 times the price of your ticket. Scratch-offs make the perfect gift, and best of all, there's no wrapping required. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in places that could expose you to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, their US-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC. And your daily reminder that despite all the bedwetting that you're seeing on social media, the Reds are still top of the league. Now, we did obviously have a disappointing result at the weekend, a 2-2 draw at home to Fulham, which before the game we would have all viewed as that's 2 points dropped. Of course we would. We went into it top, they went in mid-table. We should have won the game. But as the game played out, I think when Robbo walks, we'd all have taken a draw. You're down a goal, you're down a man against a team that are really well coached, really well set up, really well prepared, hard-working. You'd absolutely have taken the draw. We've talked a lot about how Liverpool are very much a second-half team. How with Arne Slot, the first half is almost like a fact-finding mission. Go out, see what these are about, make the tweaks at halftime, go out and win the game. And again, we saw that, even with 10 men. We won the second half 2-1. I think a lot's been made of certain performances in the game, and absolutely fair. Ryan Gravenberch deserves a lot of credit for his performance. Dominic Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones deserve huge credit for their performances as well. Same goes for Virgil. Mo for an hour was unplayable. But not enough has been made of the manager. Not enough has been made of what a brave performance this was from Arne Slot. Under any manager that we've had for the past, well, probably ever, under basically any manager in the world, when Andy Robertson gets sent off, a forward is immediately being taken off to bring on João Quansah and stick Joe Gomez at left back. Now, Joe went to left back, but João Quansah didn't come on and no forward player was removed. Instead, we went to basically Virgil at centre back, Trent at right back / midfield, Gomez at left back, Gravenberch in a midfield centre-back hybrid, which, depending on game state, depended on where he positioned himself. We kept our front three, and oftentimes we just matched up 2v3 against them in midfield, with Szoboszlai and Jones putting in absolutely titanic performances to just not even just match them. They were outplaying them at times. They were outworking the three Fulham midfielders at times. But all of that comes from the bravery of the manager. To not just immediately say, okay, damage limitation mode here, and maybe we sneak a draw. The idea of trying to sneak a draw never even entered the man's mind. It was always about winning the game. And we could and probably should have won the game. We had chances to win the game. Now, obviously, the whole thing starts with their first goal, which is just a dreadful bit of defending by Andy Robertson. Like, lack of awareness, not doing his job properly, and they score. Then there's the red card. So, I don't have a big issue with the red card. I really don't, because it's a horrendous touch by Robertson, and it's a bad challenge. But if we just go by the rules of the game, he was sent off for denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. What goal-scoring opportunity did he actually deny? Because there's no world in which Harry Wilson is scoring from there. Harry Wilson's touch sends the ball across the goal, not towards the goal, away from himself, not into his own path. One of two things happens there. Either the ball, as it did, goes to Jimenez, or if Jimenez isn't there, Van Dijk gets that ball very easily and clears it. So what goal-scoring opportunity did he actually prevent? Did he deny? And people will say, oh, but they got a shot away, so it didn't deny the goal-scoring opportunity. The framework of the Dogzo ruling is that the goal-scoring opportunity sticks with the player, not with the team. So take, for example, when Leon Bailey fouled Mo against Villa, but Darwin went on and scored. Had Darwin missed, even though he had the goal-scoring opportunity, Bailey would have had to be sent off. Bailey would have had to go. Because he took away the opportunity for Salah to score. It doesn't matter that it went to Darwin from that regard. Now, obviously, if Jimenez scores, then Robertson doesn't get sent off. And I've seen some people say, well, which would you have preferred? To be 2-0 down with 11 men or 1-0 down with 10? And it is one of those things where there's pros and cons to both, but Robertson was playing so badly that maybe we were better off with how it worked out. So the goal-scoring opportunity is with the player who's fouled. It doesn't transfer to the next guy. So it has to be a goal-scoring opportunity for Harry Wilson that Robertson denied. But there isn't one, because Wilson's touch is not good. So Wilson is not going to score from there. That's where I take some issue. Again, for the most part, I'm fine with the red card, but the ruling of it is where I have issue. And I do think we might appeal, and if we do appeal, I think we'll win. I take bigger issue with the 2 red cards, actually, the 3 red cards that they could have got. So there's the Issa Diop one on Andy Robertson. Sometimes I watch it from one angle, I think that's a red card, and then I watch it from a different angle, I think, maybe not. It's definitely borderline. It's definitely borderline. I think if it's a little bit later in the game, I do think the referee red cards him, and then I don't think VAR overrules it. Likewise, if the referee yellows him, I don't think VAR is going to overrule. I think the referee is the one that has to make the decision there. Now, then was a Pereira on Gravenberch. That is absolutely a red card. That is absolutely a red card. And I saw in Dale Johnson's VAR rundown on ESPN today, he compared it to Ndidi on Cole Palmer in the Leicester-Chelsea game. But it's not the same type of challenge. Ndidi is coming in at the back of Palmer and he kind of steps on him. That's not what this was. I think that's a nailed-on red card. The third one then is Anthony Robertson. So he'd already been booked. They have the ball and are attacking. We turn the ball over and Gravenberch starts to drive towards midfield with the ball at his feet and Robinson pulls him back. If Gravenberch stops, it's a second yellow, absolutely, and he's off. But Gravenberch is trying to win a game of football. So he keeps working through it. But the fact that Gravenberch didn't stop doesn't negate the fact that there was a foul. A cynical foul aimed to stop us on an attack. That should have been a second yellow. Now, Anthony Robinson's performance has come in for a strange amount of praise. And I note the top article on This is Anfield today is Anthony Robinson lit up Anfield, but he shouldn't be Liverpool's next left back. Now, there's no question he shouldn't be Liverpool's next left back. He's 38 years old. He's just not good enough to play for us. As simple as that. The idea that he lit up Anfield is baffling. He was garbage for an hour. Salah absolutely destroyed him for an hour. Every time Mo got the ball, he rinsed him. Every time. I mean, it wasn't that he suddenly got to grips with Mo. We just stopped giving the ball to Mo to feet. We started playing it in behind, where Robinson has the pace and physicality to deal a little bit better with that. But when we were giving the ball into feet to Mo, and he was squaring him up and running at him, Robinson couldn't cope at all. I know he gets 2 assists in the game. But consider those 2 assists. One is a cross that Andy Robertson should deal with quite easily. And the other is a really good run by him. But it's the failure of our right back to track that run that leads to that goal. And the pullback for Rodrigo Muniz is actually behind him. Muniz does well to readjust himself, but ultimately the ball only goes into the net because it hits Joe Gomez. Every year, Fulham come to Anfield, and every year people come away saying we should buy Anthony Robinson. And it does make me think that this is the only game that they watch him play each season. He's a decent left back. On his day, he is good. But he has many days where he's flat out bad. This idea that he's the best left back in the league is absolutely laughable. Even in a league that's not blessed with great left backs, there's still multiple left backs better than him. There's still a multitude of left backs in England that would be better buys for us than him. Like Rayan Nouri, Milos Kerkez. If we could tempt Newcastle into parting with Lewis Hall. He's got pace, he's got power. He's very limited on the ball. He does 2 things well. He crosses it well and he cuts it back well. But he's not a particularly good passer of the ball. He's not a particularly good ball carrier. He just runs onto things and crosses it. And his crossing is rudimentary. Like, it's not Robertson level crossing, let alone Trent level crossing. He just puts it into areas rather than picking someone out for the most part. That's what he does. He puts it into areas. It's very rudimentary stuff. But for an hour, Mo had him on toast and he should have been sent off for the pullback on Gravenberch. Simple as that. We obviously get the draw. The second goal that they score, obviously we equalise. It's a lovely ball from Diaz to Mo. It's a brilliant cross from Mo and a great diving header from Cody Gakpo. And it looks like we're in the driver's seat. And then they had a period of control and a bit more pressure, and then Arne made some changes. And then they scored. And I've seen people try and rinse Jarrell Quansah from this, and it really annoys me. Because we've seen this exact same situation for years at this club, where someone doesn't track a runner, lazily hands them off to somebody else, and then that somebody else gets blamed because they've been left in a bad position and they are unable to deal with it. Now, could Quansah do better? Yeah, he could do a bit better. But this idea that he should be embarrassed because Anthony Robinson ran past him like that is nonsense. Anthony Robinson is sprinting at full pace. Jarrell Quansah is dealing with Iwobi. He's dealing with Iwobi. That's what he's doing. And Anthony Robinson is already at full speed. Trent, who was beside Robinson when he started his run and made zero effort to track that run, decided that rather than keep with his man, he was just going to go to the ball. He was going to go to Iwobi, who was dealt with, wasn't a threat to score, but rather than deal with the actual potential danger, he was going to go and insert himself in a situation that was already taken care of. And now Quansah has to react. Now he has to turn and run against one of the faster players in the league who's already at full speed as he goes past him. There is one centre-back in the world who in that position could have dealt with that properly. One, Ibrahima Konate. That's it. That's your list. You can say, oh, Quansah's a slug. Yeah, he's not. Wait, pointed this out last season. People told me I was wrong. I wasn't wrong. He's slow on the turn. He's slow over the first 2-3 yards. That's simple facts. But this is not his fault. This is Trent's fault. And the reason it annoys me that Quansah's getting the blame is because Trent was the one getting the blame for years when Jordan Henderson couldn't be fucked to go and track a runner. And now Trent can't be arsed to go track that runner. And apparently it's someone else's fault. Trent's lack of effort in that game wound me up no end. Now, I know he's not long back from injury. I understand that he's probably trying to manage himself through games because we don't have Connor Bradley. We don't have Costas, which means Joe Gomez isn't an option at right back. I get that. But when you go down to 10 men, you're the vice captain. You've got all three midfielders absolutely flogging themselves to make up for the short numbers, and you're horsing around, you're jogging, you're sauntering. That's what pisses me off. I don't mind players having bad games. It happens to every player. Lionel Messi has bad games. Every player. What I do mind is the lack of effort. In particular, when you're the club vice captain. In particular, when you're the one trying to convince this club that you should be the highest paid player at this club. In particular, when you have not made one public statement to suggest that you actually want to stay at this club. That's when I get pissed off. Mo and Virgil are better players than him. Mo and Virgil have accomplished more than him. Mo and Virgil have earned their contracts more so than he has. Mo and Virgil have been very fucking clear that they want to stay at this club, and that's their priority. Neither Mo nor Virgil has a brother wandering around the city calling them Virgil McManaman or Mohammed McManaman. Now look, I would love him to stay. He's an incredible footballer. He's the best right back the Premier League has seen. He's redefined the position. He's an absolute cheat code in possession. And this season, for the most part, we were seeing really promising signs in terms of his defensive effort.
This episode is brought to you by Disney Plus. Game on, because ESPN Plus content is available on Disney Plus. You can watch your favorites from Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus together like never before. With ESPN Plus, unwrap a full day of NBA action on Christmas Day. Tip off the festivities with the Spurs and Knicks, followed by the Mavs and Timberwolves. Then a clash between the Lakers and Warriors, followed by the 76ers and Celtics. And finally, the Nuggets face off against the Suns, all streaming December 25th. Then with Hulu, watch the terrifying sci-fi thriller Alien Romulus, where a group of young space colonizers come face to face with the ultimate horror. And on Disney Plus, follow the adventures of 4 kids across the galaxy as they meet unlikely allies and enemies in Star Wars: Skeleton Crew, starring Jude Law. All of these and more now streaming and available with a bundle subscription. Visit disneyplus.com for details. Terms apply.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
I don't need a VPN. I've got nothing to hide. Ha. This is what I used to tell myself before I hooked up with LibertyShield.com. Not only is my home internet now fully encrypted, but I can now access all the websites I want, whenever I want, and do so from absolutely anywhere. As a Liverpool fan, I love to know I can now watch every match, regardless of whether it's on UK TV or not. My Liberty Shield VPN makes sure nothing is blocked and guarantees me super fast streaming speed throughout that match. You can get connected right now with their software package, which includes a 48-hour no-obligation free trial and instant access to their apps for Apple, Android, Fire TV, PC, Mac, and Android TV. Or go a step further like I have and get one of their pre-configured VPN routers. These small but powerful devices allow you to easily connect every device in your home to VPN, making it the perfect solution for smart TVs, Mac boxes, and games consoles. Visit LibertyShield.com today and use coupon code AIVPN25 to get 25% off at checkout.
Which had not been the case the previous 2 years when he was sauntering around. But Saturday was not a performance like we'd seen this season. It was a performance like we saw last season and the season before. If he's not fully committed, even if it's a thing where he's going to sign a contract and still want to go, let him go. Let him go. Now, look, if he's willing to sign a contract now that contains even a 50 million buyout in the summer for Real, Great. Let him go in the summer and we get cash. Is he willing to do that? Probably not. Probably not. Multiple different reports coming out of Spain say he's turned down 3 different contract offers. Don't know if that's true. Could well be. You hear rumors and stuff. There was a rumor that he asked for whatever Mo gets plus more, and that he wants a signing on bonus that would be the equivalent of what he would get by going to Real. Again, could be nonsense, but that's what's out there. But performances like that don't help anybody. And I think it was Barry Backseatsman who said it best. Andy Robertson was at fault for a goal and got sent off, and he might not have been the worst performing fullback in the Liverpool shirt on Saturday. That's how bad Trent was. And most of it is because of his effort. And I saw Graham Kelly and multiple other people who were at the game say that people were actually getting wound up watching Trent just saunter about the place. At the start of the season, it felt like Arne Slot was laying down a marker with Trent, taking him off early in games, and there was a little bit of sulking from Trent at times. But he got the reaction he wanted. Now, obviously, with Bradley out injured at the moment, he doesn't have that option. But as soon as Costas comes back, and Ibu comes back, and Gomez becomes an option right back again, it's time to try that again, Arne. It is time to try that again. Norwich manager has responded to reports of early recall for Liverpool winger. Let's see. Johannes Torup has said that it will be Cade Gordon's decision whether or not he goes back. They do speak highly of him. You know, it does seem like they want to keep him and develop him and bring him along. But just at the moment, excuse me, it's not what the situation is. So, I don't know. We'll wait and see what happens there. Let's see. Obviously, at the weekend, former Liverpool academy coach, Gary O'Neill was sacked, as was Russell Martin, just days ahead of us taking on Southampton. So interested to see what happens there. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So somebody, let me just find out who, on Blue Sky asked me to maybe have a look at the Eredivisie and people who... players who we could potentially target. So, just an angry fan at Kane Mutiny 5X. So, the best way to do this is to look at Transfer Market and look at the list of players based on valuation, and start to look through and see who would make sense for us. So the most valuable player, according to them, is Johan Bakayoko, a very talented right winger, left-footed, likes to cut inside. He's a bit like a poor man's Michael Elise, but he is a very talented player. But given the fee that they would want, it doesn't really make a ton of sense for us to go and sign him, considering we have Mo Salah who plays that position. Next up is Santiago Jimenez. I do very much like him. I think he's a really good all-round number 9. But I do have a rule about managers signing players that they worked with the previous club. I just don't think it ever really works out well. Now, if it's a one-off, I already rule it out. And at 23, he's, still got all his best years ahead of him. I would put that in the maybe column. I would also put Quinton Timber in the maybe column. Another one that Arne worked for. It'd be one or the other there. But I don't know that we need Quinton Timber. We do need a number 9. I don't think we need a Quinton Timber. I think with the way Gravenberch has kicked on this season, it eliminates the need for Timber, that powerful, rangy box-to-box player, which is ultimately going to be Gravenberch's best role. So I don't think Timber's in need. Shooting, I'm not a fan of. Robbie, talented, unique, frustrating. So pass. David Hanko would be a pass. It's not good enough. Joey Veerman would be a very hard pass. He's not nearly good enough. Jarrell Hatto or Jarrell Hatto, absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. I think he could be the answer to our left back issue. He's obviously more of a centre back profile, but he's a left back build and he's got left back movement, left back dynamism. I think he's very good and he's an exceptional passer of the ball. So he's an absolute yes. Olivier Boscagli, no. Malik Thielman, a good player, but no. Hartman from Feyenoord, he's a good player. There's no doubt. He's an exciting player to watch. Like, he's a lot of fun. But the lad seems to be cursed with injuries. Seems to be absolutely cursed with injuries. And, like, it's not like a thing that he gets small injuries. This is his second ACL tear. So it will be a hard no for him, unfortunately, because he is a fun player. So Jean Dest is mediocre. Noah Lang doesn't realize he plays a team sport. So Talu's interesting, but no. Saiberi is good. I do quite like him. But do we have a need for him? No. So pass. Good player, though. Chucky's too old. Kenneth Taylor, we don't really have a need for. He'd be, a backup to Alexis, maybe. Good player. I do think he'd suit the Premier League, but no. Stengs, no. Pasha, no. Both good players, but no. Walter Benitez, no. Thomas Beelan, no. Ultimately. Ricardo Pepi, he's promising. He's had an odd career so far. Would pass on him. Ibrahim Osman is owned by Brighton. Anthony Malambi is a yes. Anthony Malambi is an absolute yes. Now, he is a Feyenoord player. And he did work under Arne, but he was just, he was a kid breaking through. He played 15 total games under Arne. He's really coming into his own this season. And he has been tremendous for Feyenoord. Plays as a 10, but off the ball, this kid is a monster. Like, he's got Dom level willingness to do dirty work, happy to crunch himself into tackles, plays in centre midfield from time to time as well, can play wide if you need him to. But on the ball, he's got pace, he's got power, he's got dribbling ability, he shoots really well. He shoots early, which I like, doesn't allow the keeper to get set. He's having a really good season. He'd be a yes from me. Not as a starter, but as somebody to bring in, develop. He's only 19, I think. Yeah, he's 19. So lots and lots of runway ahead of him. He'd be a yes from me. Gust Hill would be a firm no. Ryan Flamingo of PSV. Potentially, he's interesting. Now, he's not big enough to be a Liverpool centre-back. I think he's 6 foot flat. But as a right-back, potentially as a holding midfielder where he has played, I wouldn't be against it as a development option. He's a good player. Hwang, no. Wrench, If Trent leaves, he wouldn't be the worst option to go and bring in at right back. Ramage is a no. Akpom is a no. Mies Hildreth is interesting. Sam Stein is interesting, but I feel like they'd fall short of ultimately where we would want them to get to. You know, like the standard of this club is now incredibly high because the aim is now to win the league. The aim is no longer like, let's get top 4 as it was for many years. Jurgen changed that. The aim now has to be to win the league. It wasn't always under Jurgen, but it has to be moving forward. They'd probably be good squad players, the two boys from Twente, but not ultimately starters. And I say that about the standard because people got upset with me at the weekend and they said Owen Beck wasn't good enough to play for Liverpool as a first-team starter because he's not. He's having a good spell in the Championship with Blackburn. He's not good enough to come in and start for Liverpool. Not game in, game out. People are saying, oh, we don't need to buy a left-back. We've got Owen Beck to bring through. No. In the same way that if Trent leaves, Conor Bradley can't just be made the starter. We can't just replace Andy Robertson with Owen Beck. If Owen Beck is your backup, fair enough. In the same way, if Bradley's the backup, though he's not as good as Bradley. But like, we're trying to win league titles here. That's what we're trying to do. Win league titles and Champions Leagues. That's the highest possible bar. You have to be a very special footballer to get to that level. And Owen Beck is going to be a good player for a long time. But now, he's nowhere close to the level required. Tyler Morton was a standout midfielder in the Championship last season for Hull. And he's been deemed not good enough to play for us this season. Owen Beck hasn't been as good for Blackburn as Tyler Morton was for Hull. And I understand the competition level at left back is not as strong as it is in midfield, but we still need a midfielder. We're still one short in there. And Morton's not getting a look at. Who else is there on this list? Mika Götze, the young Belgian winger at Ajax. Worth considering as a backup, maybe, who you can develop into a potential starter. But to be honest, I think the ones I'd say absolutely yes to would be Hato and Malambi. Wrench would be a yes if Trent goes. But then, is he better than... He's better defensively than Bradley. He's not as dynamic as Bradley is. He's not as powerful going forward as Bradley, though he's probably a little bit better of a passer than Bradley. But he's still a good player, so yeah. Jimenez, I would say like a maybe. Maybe. Depending on budget. I think Jimenez could do a lot in our team. So that's probably it. That's probably my list. AnfieldIndex.com. What have we got for the good people today? I know young Davis is busy today. He's got a couple of pods coming your way. Right, there is a match report from Saturday's game, rather. There is a piece about Russell Martin getting sacked ahead of our game against them on Wednesday. There's a piece about Anthony Robinson being linked, and again, firm no. What is this then? Liverpool have been linked with Samuel Ritchie of Torino, so there is a piece on that. He does fit into the Zubimendi kind of style, so, could see it making sense. Would certainly improve our first phase progression No question about that. And defensive concerns, Robertson being out. Yeah, so we're basically down to 4 defenders. Trent, Quansah, Virgil and Gomez. That's basically what we have. That's why the likes of Amaranallo and young Norris and whoever else the academy can provide should be involved against Southampton. Podcast-wise then, there is Post-Match Raw from the weekend. There is a David Lynch podcast. There is the Gags Tandon show. Give that a watch. Go on our YouTube and watch that. There is the Daily Red from yesterday, which I think Jack hosted, which is new. And then the final whistle was Nina and Ben doing their usual weekly show, which is always good. And that's it. That is all I have for you today. We'll have loads. We've got loads coming this week, actually, including a transfer committee podcast. So I will see you all tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.